Well, welcome on in, everybody. Jackson and I are here for another week to help you all out in moving. Do a little bit of movement ourselves on our end as well. We're going to keep programming the same for this week, so we've got one more week of our same programming that's going to have our 222s, our mobility move, and our core combo. We've got some new core movements today. We've got a new mobility move of the day, but programming is going to stay the same, and we'll also have that 40-20 combo motion tacked on to some Tabata at the back end of things. So what you need weight-wise today is, once again, those two moderate weights, and we primarily need both those moderate weights for doing the 222s. Well, you're going to have one other movement where you'll use both of them. Your other movements with a weight will be individual, but that moderate weight is probably the single best fit for what we're doing today. You could have a heavier option close by you or a light option, and of course body weight are good options for you as well. Beyond that, if you can do the barefoot thing, great. I've been talking to some people that say that they are using their shoes, and that's great too. Whatever fits for you best. Maybe you could even do half the workout with and half without. If you got any injuries, be mindful of what you're doing. We know that Jackson has a bit of a knee issue. We're going to talk about that with a couple of the exercises today. So if you got a knee issue, pay close attention to what we're saying. It might fit well for you. Manageable options, we're always going to have some regressions that can be done if necessary, a couple power options to take things up to that next level. And then if you got your own tunes, put them on, have a good time. We're going to get this thing officially moving. So we're going to start with our regular warm-ups that we've been doing for the last week or so. Jackson and I are going to face the floor. We're going to go hands and knees position. We're going to do some bird dogs here. So we're going to make sure knees got a little space between them. We're going to lift up an opposite leg and arm. Then we bring it back down. And we switch it on over. So as we're doing this, it's a great time to work on kind of full extension of a leg, full extension of an arm, and feeling how that kind of stretches through the front of the body. Do two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. All right, next we go flat to the floor. Our arms stick out wide. We've got our scorpion kick. We're going to start by lifting up our right foot and then rotating it over to the left side, coming back down and in, and reversing it. You got it. So ground through the hands, use them as an anchor into the floor. Allow yourself to get a little lateral, kind of push a little twist into things so that we can get some opening. We're doing this for mobility's sake, so mobilize. We got last one. All right. From here, hands go under us, we go plank position, feet are a little wide, we're going to walk the hands back to the feet, and then we're going to stand up and we're going to bring the arms up and overhead. Feet should be a little wide so we can get into our low squat next. From here, fingers down to the toes, move the hips a little side to side, and then take that seat into that low squat. Okay, tall through the spine right now. If you push against the knees, even better. Bring the arms up, stand up through those heels, and then fold it back down. Okay, a little swinging side to side with hips. 3, 2, and lower. Low squat. Chest up, eyes up. Push against the knees. Arms up. Stand up. We got one more. Last one. Fold it back down. Little side to side. Low squat from here. Let's do a little movement into our low squat now. Little side to side. 3, 2, center, arms up, and stand up. All right, arms then we're going to kick one out in front. It's going to go opposite foot towards whichever arm is out in front. We're working on kind of balance. Maybe you're extending how high up that foot can kind of get kick-wise. That's going to open some flexibility in the back of that hamstring. 3, 2, and 1. Golf stance from here, so we need some room to open behind us. Hands are clasped together. Athletic stance puts us into like a good quarter squat position. We're going to open and twist and stand, and then squat as we come back down. Stand, open, twist, bring it back down. Okay. Excellent. So if you can really pull that hand back at the top, we're going to integrate a bigger, better stretch through the chest and shoulder. Last 2. Bring it down, and final 1. All right. Now, Jackson and I, once again, talked about it. We want to continue to really fine-tune deadlifts for everybody because it's very important. It's a hard thing to teach from a computer. So I want to make sure we're doing our best job to really ingrain this into everybody. We're going to imagine we've got our 2 imaginary weights hanging out in front of the legs. We've got our feet shoulder width apart, and then we're really going to focus on keeping our back straight. Our eyes are going to come down with the body as we go down, those hands in front of the legs, and as we stand, we get tall and we do a little bit of a hip thrust to squeeze your butt at the top. Control coming it back down, and then lift up and squeeze. Let's go 2 more. Lat muscles, pin them down as we go down right here. Lift up, little butt squeeze, and last one, bring it down. If you can add depth, do it. And then up nice and tall. Good, bent over fly puts you here at the bottom of that, keeps it, and then we're just gonna work on maintaining that flat back while we're getting a little bit of back building strength through lifting those weights to the side. A bent elbow approach on that is a-okay as well. So let's get into our 2-2-2s from here. We're gonna need our 2 moderate weights to get there. Jackson, go ahead and grab those if you will. I'm going to put mine at the sides. Remember, we start on the floor, push-up position. So you've got your choice to be on either full plank or onto the knees, as some options through here. 2 push-ups, then go into 2 deadlifts, 2 flies, and 2 squats. In 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and start with those 2 push-ups. Step forward, reset that smart back. Yes, bingo. So I love taking this slow to make sure that we really maintain that flat spine through the up and down of a deadlift, as well as during those flies. Those weights come up after that, you knock out 2 good squats. Perfect, and then you repeat. Weights go back down to the floor, you go back down to the floor, you knock 2 more push-ups up. Excellent, stepping forward, reset that low back, tighten the belly, and good lifts. All right, good. We got ourselves 15 seconds, so work through your last few reps right here. We're going to go straight into our mobility move of the day after this. So you're going to put down your weights in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and put your weights down. Take your feet wide. Okay? We're calling this an archer squat. So we're going to sit back and down to one side, and whichever side we're bending the knee, we're going to open the opposite arm, and we're going to follow with the eyes and that hand. We'll come up nice and tall. We're going to switch it. We're going to sit back and down. We're going to follow the opposite arm raising up, and then come back up nice and tall. Practice this. It's a little bit of a push out, on that bent knee before you come back up. So we put a small stretch into that inner thigh here. We lift the arch of that foot a bit. And then the eyes are up and we get some nice upper body stretching through that reach as well. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Lie down on your back. We're going to start core 3 with some dead bugs here. So you're going to be here, opposite arm and hand. We're going to start in 3, in 2, in 1. Reach out away, bring it back in, and switch it up. Excellent. Every time you pull the leg and arm back in, reset the low back into the floor. Okay, now we've got 2 more movements. The next one's going to keep us on our back. And then our third one, we're going to be facing the floor. In 10 seconds, we're going to move to doing a hollow hold. No time wasted in between. We start a hollow hold in 3, in 2, in 1. Now both the legs and arms stay out. We're going to keep them a little high, and that low back press becomes vitally more important by this point to really kind of wake up what we're doing through here. So maintaining this, keeping the eyes looking up. That way the neck stays slightly less engaged in things. If your neck's getting real tight, you can move it around a little bit so you can loosen it. And then we're going to turn around and go to a bear crawl next in 3, 2, 1. Hands and knees position, but those knees are now above the floor. You're going to slowly drop them and tap them to the floor and then lift them. Okay, slow tap, lift. Good. Slow tap, lift. Excellent. 15 seconds. Then we're taking a breather. This is the last little bit right here. Okay, finish up in 3, in 2, in 1. That is break time, that is breather, that is high five time. Things are warming up in studio here, everybody. We're getting warm, getting loose.
Quick.
Okay, so We've got our 40-20 combo moves coming up from here. Jackson and I are going to show them to you. We are going to have the active recovery in between them. Jesse hooked us up with the baddest active recovery, the dancing or the happy hippie. So we're going to have some fun with that, see if we can't put that together. But him and I are first going to use 2 moderate weights to go over our first movement, and then a single moderate weight for our second and our third movement. So let's start with our 2 moderate weights first. We're going to do a combination of a squat and a single leg deadlift. And what's important is that we do the single leg deadlift on both sides. So first up, we get that squat position, feet shoulder width apart, sit into a good squat, bring it right back up, and then on one side, keep the weights very close to the legs as you go down and lift behind you. Bring it back up, and then switch over to the opposite side. All right, reset, so both feet back where they need to be for another good squat. So you make sure that you do 1 full squat and you do 2 of those single leg deadlifts. Of course, if you wanted to do this without weight, you're welcome to it. Our second movement then takes us down to the floor with a single weight. All right, we're going to go V-shaped position here. You're going to do a curl, a press, and then once you've done that, put the weight down, roll onto your back, lift your hips up for a reverse crunch, come back forward, pull the weight up, press it, bring it back to the floor, go onto your back, and push those hips up again. Okay? So a little combo of that V-shaped shoulder press and then that reverse crunch at the back end. Of course, a more manageable approach, you could do this without weight. You could practice here. You could have those feet onto the floor. And when we get to that reverse crunch, you can just lift up a little bit and start working on the beginnings of doing a good reverse crunch. Our third and final movement, we're using a weight again, and we're going to get into a plank position. And we're going to have that single weight right under us during our plank position. So we're going to get us here, good plank position. We're going to do 2 heel lifts. 1 foot goes up, second foot goes up. We go to the knees, and now keeping the arms straight, lift up overhead, bring it back down with control, go back to that plank, give me those 2 heel lifts. Perfect. Go back to the knees and bring that weight up and overhead. Okay, now more manageable approach. This can be done from the knees. We're here on the knees. 1 heel lift, 2 heel lifts, and then as you come up, you can kind of dictate how far you push that weight up depending on how you're feeling. So we're using a weight for each of your movements, and your first movement, ideally, we're using 2 weights, but a single weight can do just fine as well. Let's get into our workout. So we need our 2 moderate weights. We've got our squat and our single leg combo. Remember, for our single leg, that we've got it on both sides. Okay? So let's go ahead and get ourselves ready. 10 seconds and we get going. It's 1 squat followed by a single leg deadlift on each side. In 3, in 2, in 1. 1 smooth squat. Keep those weights in front of the leg as we go down. Lift back tall. Shift to the next side. Practice it. Bingo. And now shift back to a perfect squat position. And Jackson and I had talked about this a little bit beforehand at the beginning. We wanted to make sure that each time he finished the second one, he got back into exactly where he needed to be to have the right squat going on. Don't get lazy on your foot mechanics. We want the toes pointed forward. All right, now when we finish with this movement, we're going to put the weights down on either side of the mat. So go ahead and put them down in 3, 2, and 1. Put them down on each side of the mat. Stand up. Keep up. Active recovery is our happy hippie. So we're going to do a little bit of this. Okay, you can do whatever you want. You can start moving around into it. And then Jesse was doing like a pop, pop, go, pop, pop. Okay, that's good enough. Let's bring it down to the floor. V-shape, shoulder press, 2, 1. We go V-shape, we get the curl, we get the press. We bring it down, and now we go into that reverse crunch. Bring it back up, chest high, curl it, press it, and reverse it back on the floor. Okay, practice through there. Remember, more manageable approaches, we can have the feet stay to the floor when we're doing a press. We can lighten the weight up. And as we're on our back, we don't need to lift the hips super high. Just some practice is going to get us to start using the right muscles into there. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go active recovery in 3, in 2, in 1. Active recovery, feet wide, knees side to side. Okay, just kind of work that nice side to side here. Once again, a hip opener. Give the hips a little bit of a breather. We're going to go plank position next with the weight under us. So let's flip under, plank position, Heel lifts first in 3, 2, 1. One heel lift, next heel lift, knees down, weight up, control it down, lift again. Remember, you can be on your knees. You can give me those heel lifts from a hips forward, kind of knees down plank position. Excellent. Okay, if you need to, you can do very small heel lifts through that as well. Kind of figure out what's working. We've got 10 seconds through here, and we're going to finish with our low cobra as our active recovery, the same one we've been practicing. In 3, 2, 1. Lower down, elbows under the shoulders. You're going to breathe in and arch up, and exhale and flatten and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. All right. That is round number 1 for us. I'm not giving us a long break before we get into round number 2. I hope you learned the happy hippie, everybody. You might have noticed, I think we were learning on the fly there too. But we have faith in this. We are dancers here. We do enjoy a good musical time. In 10 seconds, we're going to start. So I need your 2 weights. I need you to have that squat and single leg deadlift combo ready to go. In 3, in 2, in 1. We get that one good squat down. Single leg lifts behind you. You're going to keep those weights right in front of the leg. Both times, weights in front of that leg. Good, and then reset, perfect squat. There we go. The closer you keep the weights in front of that leg, the more you're going to be forced to pull those lats down. We've talked about that with your deadlift in general. This is a single leg deadlift. It's the same principle. We're squeezing those lats down to really engage more back and to keep a good straight line through the spine. Okay, we're going to put the weights down to the side of the mat in 3, in 2, in 1. Put the weights down to the side. Happy hippie time. So do a little bit of side to side grooving. There you go. And then you can do like a double. Every once in a while, double, double. 3, 2, take a seat. We got our V-shaped curl press and our reverse crunch in 3, in 2, in 1. We do that curl, that press. We go onto our backs, reach up with those hips, roll back up, chest tall. As we go through that, onto the back, hip press from there. Good. And I love what Jackson does at the top of that hip press, which is kind of does like a tiny hold. He's really trying to stack feet over the hip. So if you're practicing this and getting better at it, the higher you can extend up and keep kind of that good straight line right there, that's what we're ideally trying to put together. Our active recovery is going to be knees side to side up next. We're going to get there in 3, in 2, in 1. Feet go wide, they tap the floor, and we turn those knees side to side. Our third and final movement as a part of our combo is going to be that plank with the heel lifts and the overhead lift. So let's go ahead and turn around, place the weight underneath you. Plank position, 2 heel lifts, start in 3, 2, 1. One up, next one up, both knees down, weight lifts overhead, control it back down, and repeat. Now, once we're done with this, we've got our active recovery of the low cobra, and we're at the tail end of the first half of the workout already. Time is flying so far. So that means basically that we're going to tack on 2-2-2s, mobility move, and core 3 right after this. 10 seconds and we go active recovery on that low cobra move. All right, in 3, in 2, in 1. Go to the elbows, flatten most of the body to the floor, belly to the floor. Inhale and raise up, kind of bring the chest and chin up. Exhale and kind of fold forward towards the floor. Inhale, raise it up. Find a little arch in the spine. Exhale, lower down. Let's do that last one. Inhale up. Exhale down. Okay, come up. Grab your 2 moderate weights. It's time for 2-2-2s from here. So in 10 seconds, we start your 2-2-2s. Oh, excuse me, I should have said stay on the floor. Weights down, push-ups start in 3, in 2, in 1. Give me the 2 good push-ups. Of course, they can be done from the knee here if you need it. Give me those perfect deadlifts. We are practicing keeping those back muscles down through those deadlifts. Abs stay really tight through a deadlift and through this bent over fly. Control the up, control the down, and lift up into squats to finish out. And repeat from there, back to the floor, push-ups go next. Good, so you'll notice, and maybe even you can hear out there, when Jackson comes up from movement, he's breathing out. Right? And this is the way I want you all to breathe as well. So he pulls those arms up. Good, pulls those arms up. He goes to that squat next, and when he stands, he's going to breathe out. Breathe out. Good, breathe out. And those push-ups to finish. Now we're going to go mobility move. So standing in wide stance in 3, in 2, in 1. Put the weights down, take the feet real wide, sit to one side, and the opposite hand, you're going to follow up with the eyes. Then come back up nice and tall, switch it over. Opposite side, eyes go there, press up. Remember, we do have a little bit of pressure against the knee, just a tiny bit. And come back up, switch it. All right, continue working through this. As you sit back to one side, the weight's going to that heel each and every time, right? Sit back onto that heel. Our core 3 starts next with our dead bugs on our back. So first up, on our back, we're going to start in 3, in 2, in 1. Lie down on your back. We got dead bugs from here. Now remember, there's this 10-second gap in between, so we're getting set up. We're going to officially start in 3, in 2, in 1. Give me the extension of an opposite leg and arm. Bring it back in and reverse it. Jackson's getting a little mixed up. It happens. Yeah, he's kind of giggling over here. Totally good. If you guys find yourself mixed up a little bit, if a movement kind of confuses you, go to something that's familiar that you can keep moving with. After this is our hollow hold next. So we're going to hold for 30. We're going to start our hollow hold directly in 3, 2, 1. Now both arms and legs extend out. This one, we're not getting them super low to the floor. We're going to keep them slightly higher and put more of the emphasis on the low back. Keeping the eyes looking up to that ceiling. Okay, not looking at those toes, but at the ceiling. If you need to shake the head out a little bit, you're welcome to it. 10 more seconds, and then we flip around and go to bear crawl position with those knee taps. In 3, in 2, in 1. Turn yourself around, hands and knees position. Knees right under those hips. Lift them 1 inch or 2 above the floor. Slowly lower, tap, and lift. Good. Tap and lift. Very nice. Feel those abs really lifting the hips up and controlling, lowering back down to the floor. You got 10 seconds, and you've got yourself another breather, everybody. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. That's good. That is break time, my man.
Ooh, man.
All right, now we're getting loose. We're getting warm up in here. Muscles are stretching out. Got happy hippies going on everywhere. Frickin' Santa Cruz, huh?
How did they know?
How did they know? All right, well, we hope you guys are having a fun time out there with that sort of stuff. Get goofy, right? Yeah, I mean, we're stuck indoors, we're stuck with our family. Just, let it out. Get a little goof into your day. Okay, so you and I, we got to show you 5 movements for our Tabata. 3 of these movements are done on a single side. And for those single-sided movements, those are going to be done with a weight today, or at least weight optional. So the first thing we're going to do is a squat, a turn, and a press with a single weight. So let's grab a single moderate to heavy weight. Okay, let's get into a good squat position, and the elbow is straight up in front of the shoulder as you begin. So we're not out here, but right in front of that shoulder. 1 full squat, down and up. Okay. Now, once you've completed that squat, now we twist to the opposite side of the weight and push it up. Okay, bring it back down. Sit back into that full squat, down and up, and now twist to the opposite side and push. Okay, so one side only, full squat before you rotate and do that shoulder press. 2 separate movements put back to back. Our second movement is going to be a balanced step back lunge. This one's slightly confusing, and I want to work on it and fine tune it. You might not want to wait, or if you're good with it, definitely add a weight to bring kind of emphasis to what we're doing. But essentially, it's a step back lunge. However, We're going to try to keep that back foot off the floor. It's a balanced step back lunge as long as you can. Then it taps, and then once you lift, immediately pull it up as you're standing. So that foot kind of floating above the floor until it needs to tap, and then lifting it almost immediately and pressing up through there. Now, if that's too complicated for you, you're giving me a regular step back lunge. Okay? If you're good at your regular step back lunges, you're going to put some weights in your hands, maybe even 2 of those moderate weights if you need it. We're going to do it on each side. So remember, our first 4 movements are going to be these squats and these balanced lunges. After that, we're going to come down to the floor and do a sawing plank. So basic plank position, we got hands underneath shoulders. You could be on the elbows, of course. Sawing plank has us go forward and back, not too far, but a little bit, and enough to kind of really feel those abs in front. After that, we turn around and we go full body crunch. So full body crunch, very familiar to our hollow hold. And now we're gonna pull everything in and breathe out and inhale and extend. Okay, so you kind of find where you can extend, either closer to the floor or staying higher up for your safety point. Also, if you needed a more manageable option, you can just tap those heels to the floor. And then our final movement is a side plank position, and we're gonna stack some weight into that. So we wanna get into our regular side plank, but we wanna have that weight close by. From here, we're gonna lift up and we're gonna hold that weight right over top of the shoulder. And you'll notice both Jackson and I have our palm forward. So our knuckles are kind of towards the back end of our body. This helps set where we want that shoulder. We'll come back down, rest, and switch it. Now, a more manageable approach, remember that bottom knee can stay on the floor right here. You could add that weight, get that good power out of things, and bring it back down. We'll do that on both sides, and then your Tabata is complete. We've got 3 total rounds of Tabata. I got a good high five for that one. Let's get ready. Okay, so single weight, single moderate weight. We're gonna do that squat, that single-sided squat, with the turn and the shoulder press. We're gonna start in 10 seconds. Get yourself into a good squat position. Remember, weight up in front of that shoulder, other arm kicked out. 3, 2, 1. One full squat. Now turn and press to the opposite side. Okay? One full squat, turn, press, opposite side. You got it. So once again, just really fine-tuning a perfect squat with that elbow lifted. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. You got 10 seconds of recovery. Switch the hands, next side, same thing coming up. 3, 2, 1. One good squat. At the top, now twist, turn, opposite side. Perfect, okay? Up next after this is our step back balanced lunge. So you may or may not want the weight. We finish this movement in 3, in 2, in 1. Keep the weight or ditch it. We're gonna practice that balanced lunge coming down and standing up. 3, 2, 1. Have that foot hover. It taps whenever you need it to, and then try to lift it sooner so that you really up the game of the power required out of that leg, as well as the balance. Good. As you stand up, you're going to breathe out. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Switch the legs. Now, Jackson's on his bad leg here, so I'm coaching him to tap his foot to the floor sooner. 3, 2, 1. So right here, he's going to be mindful of that knee, and he's going to give it more support earlier on. And I told him once he does that, just go straight down to your lunge once you're there. So tap the toe, and then straight down to the lunge from there. We're going to go sawing planks next, finished in 3, 2, 1. Come down to the floor with us from here. Hands or elbows underneath the shoulders. Sawing plank starts in 3, in 2, in 1. Once again, we're doing a little forward, a little back. If you needed to be on the knees, you can push your hips forward and raise, and then knees back down. Hips forward, knees lift, and come back down. Is that manageable approach? Okay, full body crunch follows next. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn it around. Arms and legs up into the air. Full body crunches in. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. If you can hear Jackson, he's going to breathe out during the crunch. There we go. All right, 10 more seconds, and then we go side planks from here. Have a weight close by for your side plank. We go finished with full body crunch in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn to a side. I'm going to bring that weight over for him. Elbow or hand underneath. Split the feet, stack the feet or on the knee in 2, in 1. Lift and hold. Okay, so we're locking our position in. You're going to maintain the hips at a high point. So the higher you can keep those hips up, the more you're going to feel those obliques underneath. Finished on this side in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn it, switch it, flip it. All right. We're going to lift and hold in 3, in 2, in 1. So you can notice even from Jackson's backside here, he's still going to keep his hips up. And he's got his knuckles to the back side of his body. He's got that palm open to the front and getting a nice stacking of that shoulder for some back strength as well as good shoulder stability. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. That is rest time. That is recovery time. We'll make it a short rest and recover.
Okay.
Get whatever water you need. We got everything now. We're mentally learning it. We physically put it into action. We're ready to start picking it up a notch. Okay, so we get started with the single squat and then the turn and the shoulder press. Let's go ahead and reset. We got 10 seconds till we get there. Please keep that elbow lifted straight out in front of that shoulder. 3, 2, 1. One squat down, bring it up, and now twist, press. Now, if you're getting good at that movement, we can start pushing tempo. As we start to figure out what we do, feel free to add weight, to push tempo, to add depth, things that take you to a next level in your workout. In 3, in 2, in 1, 10 seconds to rest. Second side is coming up. Okay, toes pointed forward for our squat. In 3, in 2, in 1. Remember that free arm is extended out. Perfect. Jackson's given us great depth right here. If you can challenge even an extra inch of depth, we're opening the hips more. We're engaging bigger, powerful muscles. 3, 2, 1. It's the balanced lunge next. You can keep the weight or you can toss it, but you work on good balance and power here. Starting in 3, in 2, in 1. Hovering the toe at the bottom. Try to lift that foot and press immediately. Hover it going back. Okay, lift it almost immediately to activate the power and the balance out of that. Good. Thinking that knee pulling out to the side just a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Recover. Next side comes up. Shake it out a little bit. Set it up in 3, in 2, in 1. Hover it back. He's on that more challenge side, so what he's going to do is just make it more of a classic step back lunge. The toe's going to get down there. He's going to drop straight down and put that weight on the forward heel. We're going to go sawing plank up next. We finish this one in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's bring it down to the floor. Elbows or hands right under the shoulders for that good plank position. A little forward back in 3, 2, 1. Just that light forward back. Manageable approach. Drop to the knees and then push yourself back forward to that plank. Drop to the knees, push and lift back forward to that plank. Excellent. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Flip it around. Full body crunch. Okay, remember you can keep this a little smaller to make it slightly more manageable. 3, 2, 1. Pull in. And as you crunch in, breathe out. Excellent. Open back up. Give me some stretch into things. Awesome. Pull this weight right over here for you, amigo.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. 3, 2, 1. Side plank next. We're going to grab that weight. We're going to stack it above our shoulder. Now, this might be body weight for you. That's okay. 3, 2, lift. Good. So what's important, even if you had no weight up there, is we want to see that the hand stays on top of that shoulder. And if you can see this, we want to make sure that it goes all the way down through the next shoulder and elbow as well for safety. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and turn and switch. Opposite side. Get there quickly. Remember, you could be on that bottom knee. You could stack those feet to bring it next level. 3, 2, 1. Bring it up and hold it. And it's worth saying that, actually, I told Jackson at the beginning of this, give me a split stance with your feet because it's going to be a little bit easier on your knee. If you have those feet stacked, we're putting a little bit extra pressure onto it. Your knee may or may not like that based on your physiology. In 3, in 2, in 1. Rest, recover. We're getting there, my man.
Yeah.
It's easy street from here.
I'm liking the core stuff.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we got one more round of our Tabata, and then we're tacking on those 2-2-2s, the mobility moves, and the core 3 to wrap it up today, and then we are stretching. Get the water if you need it. I'm gonna set up this timer. I'm gonna even take like a little splash of afternoon coffee. Ooh, all right, no sleep tonight. All right, 10 seconds. I know, I tell you guys about not drinking caffeine in the afternoon. Here I am. All right, so you got your squat, your turn, and your press. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. 1 squat, 1 twist, 1 press, and then bring it right back down through there. Excellent. Recruit your core right here. When that elbow's lifted, that should immediately turn on a little bit more core. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. You got 10 seconds in between. Jackson likes to finish out a rep through there. I definitely love that. Next side in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's go. Squat in. Now rotate press. And same thing, push tempo if you're feeling good. There we go. He's got that stand up, breathe out, connected together. After this move, balance lunge. Finished in 3, 2, 1. Weight may stay or go. The balanced lunge comes up next where that foot hovers, taps, and lifts. 3, 2, 1. Hover it back, tap it when necessary, and then try to lift on up. Now, you may have noticed my graceful assistant back here just had a little bit of a snafu.
Finally.
I mean, Jackson's a fit dude and he's fallen over a little bit. That means that we're all human, everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. 3, 2, 1. Switch it over. He goes onto his more challenged side now, so we're paying better attention to giving support when necessary. Starting in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's knock it out. Good. If we could do all these movements perfectly, we wouldn't be doing them, right? You know, there would be no challenge for us. So when you're feeling off center, when you're screwing up a little bit, that's good. That's your body's getting challenged. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's bring it down. Sawing plank. Hands under shoulders, elbows under shoulders. We'll get started in 3, in 2, in 1. We just got that little forward back. And try to feel that right down the front of the abs, right? Where we see people with those nice 8-packs, those fake 12-packs that don't even exist, but they got them somehow. After this, we're going to flip onto our back. 3, 2, 1. Flip it onto the back. Full body crunch next. Hands up, our legs up. 3, 2, 1. Crunch it in. Extend it out. There we go. Yeah, so work on a big extension to get more out of that full body crunch. We'll go finished up. 3, 2, 1. Side plank. Get set. Have that weight close by. Split your feet. Go onto the knee or stack your feet. 3, 2, 1. Let's make it happen. There's the stacking I'm looking for. He's got that palm facing forward, knuckles facing backwards, and those hips at a premium. Keeping them up. Breathe, people. Good. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn it, switch it. We'll flip here, and then after, tiny break and straight to 2-2-2s. 3, 2, lift, hold it, lock it. Visualize where you're focused. Squeeze your abs. Breathe. Last little bit. Okay, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Now, we get into, on the floor, our push-ups for our 2-2-2s. So have those weights close by. Okay, 10 seconds is on our clock. Get ready. Last set of 2-2-2s right here. In 3, in 2, in 1. You got that smooth push-up 2 times. You step it in. You straighten that back. Belly tight. 2 lifts. Bingo. All the way up. Bring it back flat. 2 flies. Could be bent elbows for that. Keep you slightly safer. Bring them up. 2 good squats. Yes. Rock it. Back to the floor. Give me those push-ups. Let's see if we can get through at least 2 full sets and maybe get into another half or even third full set through there as well. Good. Flat back. Belly tight. We got ourselves 20 seconds, folks. 20 seconds. After this, we're going to go straight into the archer squat, which is our mobility move of the day. We've got ourselves about 10 seconds till we get there. Okay. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's put the weights down. Let's take the feet real wide. As we sit back and down to one side, we're going to follow the opposite hand up. Okay? Bring it back up tall. Switch it over. You've got a little pressure against the knee outward to give you a slight stretch on the inside leg. Very good. Bring it up. Keep kind of working that. Remember, as that knee bends, your weight sits into the back of that foot. We do want kind of that posterior chain to get activated through this lateral lunge. After this, we're going to go down to the floor, and it'll be Deadbugs to start our core 3. Last few, sit back, finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Come to the floor, go down on your back, legs up, hands up, dead bug for 30, starts in 3, in 2, in 1. Opposite hand and foot. And great, working on extension. We've talked about this with a lot of these crunches. We talk about it with a bird dog. Full extension gives us full range of motion, allows some stretching to be a part of that contraction. Perfect. 10 more seconds. After this, we do the hollow hold. Hollow hold will come up next. Hollow hold starts in 3, in 2, in 1. Lift and hold. Once again, this is probably going to have the feet a little bit higher than we did for that full body crunch. The eyes are staying straight up. We're breathing steadily with a low back press going down. Push that low back into the floor. You got yourself 10 seconds. We're going to turn towards the floor and do the bear crawl knee lifts to finish out your day. Bear crawl knee lifts in 3, 2, 1. Flip it. Hands under shoulders. Knees lift, tap, and lift. Okay, so imagine, find, and feel those abs lifting up and really controlling the lowering back down. Okay, 10 more seconds. And we go finish up in 3, in 2, in 1. That's it, everybody. Do a little raise the roof, a little high-fiving. You got some folks around you, give them some love, tell them they're doing great. Even if they're like imaginary friends, that's cool.
Okay.
All right, folks, we'll go ahead and lie down on your backs. I want you to go ahead and do that. I want your arms to come overhead. I want you to use this as an opportunity to start decompressing here. Okay, we're going to get into that belly breathing as we're on the back. We're going to use that as another tool in our bag to get into more of a restful state. And so the belly lifting up through the breath. The breath goes lower into the body. And that longer exhale. And as you're breathing out more air, you should feel a little contraction of your belly with that happening. Find that, feel that, put that into what you're doing. All right, next up, let's go into a single right leg lifting up. We're going to get into our hamstring stretch. And we've got some options here where we could get playful with the foot. If you want to practice a bigger stretch, you can try straightening that leg a little extra. You might actually have to lower the leg some if that happens, and that is totally okay. Okay, belly breath in. Nice exhale going out. Let's now bring this right leg a little to the left side. The foot should end up just beyond the left leg. You should start to feel a little bit of the side of that right leg opening here. Play around with the ankle. You can definitely find some additional stretches taking place. And a good belly breath in from here. All right, we're going to bend the right knee. Your left hand is now going to bring it towards the floor. Your right hand is going to reach out to the right side. You're going to turn and look to the right side. We're going to try to maintain your right shoulder in touch with the floor, so keeping contact between the right shoulder and the floor. And then maintaining that, can you pull the knee down a little further, keeping that shoulder grounded. Nice belly breath in. Nice long exhale. Let's go ahead and unwind. Next up, that left leg straight up, hands behind it. Okay, and if you want to get playful with the foot, please feel free to do so. So I want to talk today a little bit about great sources of vegetarian protein. Right? And so I think oftentimes, I know for a fact, that Americans are huge protein consumers. We're a pretty meat-heavy society, and that has more implications than just our health. I think that also has implications on environmental health. And this is where plant proteins can come in and kind of bridge the gap in maybe a slightly better way, or at least giving us some more variety into what we're doing. That leg needs to come across next, so we get that outside hip stretch. Once again, kick into that belly breathing as we're here. And we do know that overconsumption of meats, especially with meat sources, I think it's important to discuss that today too. Is our meat coming from somewhere where the animal was cared for well? From here, bend the knee and bring it down with your right hand. Look out to the left side, reaching out with your left arm, and eyes out as well. You know, there's certain places that really, do a disservice to all of us by not treating these animals well. And paying attention to the type of sources and making sure that things are not pumped full of hormones or antibiotics. Paying attention to the food that's given to those animals and how that may come back to us. I think are important practices for not only maintaining the health of the environment and these animals, but I think also that if you think about us putting that food into our body, it has significant implications on what we may be exposing ourselves to too. Let's go ahead and unwind the legs here. We've got our butterfly stretch next. So Jackson's going to stay on his back. I'm going to bring my feet together from my seated position. And then wherever we're at, we're just going to make sure the knees are pressing downward to really get us into that nice inner thigh stretch here. Kick into that breathing again. And so I mentioned this in just the earliest little bit about talking about these protein sources, is that variety is really key. And we talk about this in general with a lot of things through exercise, variations of different types of exercises keeps the body guessing, does well. Variety of colors in foods provides a lot of different micronutrients available to us. And the same goes with kind of finding different protein sources, especially some plant-based ones. Let's go ahead and unwind from here. We're going to get into our kneeling quad stretch next. So your left knee is going to stay down on the floor. Your right foot is going to open in front of you. And I do want you to notice this as well. Wherever you're at, make sure that you're looking straight down at that leg in front, and let's see that the knee is lined up with the ankle and the hip. So I don't want the leg out here, but line it up in a straight line. Then that left arm comes up, the right arm is hanging off to the side, and you're squeezing your butt behind you on that left side. Okay? So let's identify some of these protein sources. I mean, there's tons of them to go over. And we're already talking about dairy can be a good filler for a lot of things. So some cheeses, some cottage cheese is a really, really good source. Getting eggs right? Eggs, great protein source, a lot of good healthy fats within there, even has some vitamin D within it. Cheeses, Greek yogurts, and then we can get into some of like the beans, the lentils, seeds through there, and even nuts, a variety of all these. Let's go ahead and switch the knees. Right knee goes down, left foot comes out in front, right hand goes up into the air. We're going to squeeze your butt behind you on that right side. We're just going to breathe as we're opening here. Okay? So beyond, or I shouldn't say beyond, but continue to go down the line of like what falls into really great protein sources. We have a lot of beans and lentils, right? We have a lot of nuts and cheeses and dairy items. We have seeds. How about like the meaty stuff, like something that you could substitute into a meal? Well, tempeh, tofu, or seitan. Seitan? What? How do I say it?
Seitan.
Seitan? Okay. Didn't want to say the real one. All right, go ahead and bring it on down there. And then last up, we're going to get into a seated position that is comfortable for you. So for me, I'm going to be on my heels. Jackson's going to probably either have his feet lightly crossed or a little bit out in front of him, just keep his knee feeling all right. We're going to put your left hand down and your right arm is going to reach up and overhead. Okay, and we're just going to do some breathing as we're really kind of reaching through the fingertips, the opposite direction, and opening through those rib cage muscles. Sprouted items, right? So you might notice some sprouted breads. Well, when things are sprouted, they're kind of upped in a little bit of protein and upped in various micronutrients. So sprouted items are a great way to kind of boost what you're doing. Let's go ahead and bring that right hand down, switch it over, left arm reaching overhead next. Nutritional yeast. So you may notice that if you're looking for ingredients, that nutritional yeast can be in various products. Like we have some kale chips here that have some nutritional yeast to it, and that has a protein effect, added effect to it. Come on back up. With the left hand, let's now bring it behind the back. Let's get into a neck stretch. Right hand is just gently pulling the head a little forward and down. If you're looking for like a good protein powder, Vega, in fact, let me grab it right here because it's right at my disposal. We are not getting paid by these guys, but Vega rocks. They're a great plant protein source. Go ahead and bring yourself up and turn it and switch it. And then even nowadays, like the Beyond Meat, the Impossible Burger, right? So you can go into kind of more common chains, or that is where allowed back into restaurants or maybe ordering from restaurants, and look at that Impossible Burger and know that you're going to get some good proteins into there and have a nice plant-sourced protein. Nice big inhale in, nice long exhale out. Go ahead and shake it on out, everybody. You have yourselves a wonderful week. We're just getting started into this week. I think we're going to keep that hippie move. Thank you, Jesse, for adding that in.
Thank you, Jesse.
And we'll see y'all soon.